For instance, let's say someone just got married. Happily wed newlyweds. They're so excited about being together. They're so attached to each other that even when they're at work, there's a part of their heart, the husband's heart is still with his wife. The wife's heart is still with her husband, even when they're at work or doing all their duties. Whatever they're doing throughout the day, they remember. Or think of a teenage crush. That kind of loving feelings that come in the heart of a teenager when they have feelings of love for someone else are so deep in the heart that even when they're taking a test at school, they're still thinking about that boy or that girl. So this kind of deep attachment stays in the heart all the time, no matter what the conscious mind is thinking about or doing. Let's say you hadn't seen your mother or father in over 10 years. You came to America, you haven't gone back to India, your mother or father hasn't come to see you in America, and you miss them very much. And tonight they're coming. You have to go to the airport and pick them up. You're so excited to see them, but you had to go to work today. You had to do all the things you do throughout every day, but you were thinking throughout the whole day, no matter what you were doing, part of you was always remembering, tonight my mother's coming, I'll get to see her after 10 years. Because that desire is so deep in the heart. And there's a third thing that always stays with us, our motivation. We never undertake any action without an original motivation behind it. Why am I doing what I'm doing? That I remember the whole time I'm doing it. So that's deep. That stays with me on a subconscious level. Prayojana manuddishya mandopi na pravartate. Darshan Shastra says, even the greatest fool has a reason behind everything he does. That reason might not make sense to us, but in his mind, he had a reason for doing what he's doing. We always keep that reason, that motivation in our mind, deep in our heart, while we're performing the action. You go to work, why? Because you need the money to support yourself and your family. So while you're working, you don't forget that. Otherwise, why would you work? You don't want to work. You'd rather be having fun, doing something that you want to do on vacation somewhere, or playing some game, playing golf, or playing cricket, whatever you like to do. Why would you work if you didn't have to? So you remember the motivation. This is why I'm working. This is why I'm eating. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. The original motivation also remains deep in your heart. So these three things, our personal identity, our deep desires and attachments, and the original motivation, why am I doing this action? No matter what we're doing, those things stay in our mind. So how to apply this to remembering God? We can apply the same principle that would allow us to remember God all the time, no matter what we're doing. Take the first one, our personal identity. I explained that the identity that we relate to, that we feel so deeply about, is actually just our physical identity. Such a superficial thing that we never forget, yet it's so superficial. I'm a man or I'm a woman. I'm American or I'm Indian. I'm a husband, I'm a wife. Such superficial things, yet we remember them all the time. Now let's go deeper. Who is our soul related to? That's our real identity. Chinmatram Shri Hareransham Sukshmam Aksharam Avyayam Krishnadhinamiti Prahur Jivam Jnana Gunashrayam. Ved says that on the deepest level, we're all related to God. In fact, that's our true identity. And it introduces a technical term, Ansh. We are Ansh and he is Anshi. Ansh means a part of, and Anshi means the origin, the whole. Like the ocean is Anshi and a drop of the ocean is Ansh. So God is Anshi and we are all His Ansh. So we are all divine souls who belong to God. And that relationship is eternal. That can never be broken. Mamaivansho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana. Gita. Krishna says, all the souls are my eternal Ansh. They never became my Ansh. Like in this life, you became a man or you became a woman. You weren't necessarily the same man or woman in your last life. In this life, you became that person's brother or sister or husband or wife. You weren't necessarily that in the last life. In this life, you became American or Indian or Punjabi or Gujarati. You weren't necessarily the same thing in your last life. But our relationship with Krishna is eternal. We've always been His Ansh. That never began. And the relationship is not only on a substantial level like that substantially He's divine and we are divine, substantially we belong to Him, but it's on a personal level also. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vriksham parikhasva jate. Sakhaya, He is our eternal friend. So it's not just like a scientific concept that, okay, He is Anshi and I'm Ansh. That's kind of abstract. Ved says it's even more, make it personal. He's your eternal friend. What friend in this world has always been with you? Nobody. We keep changing friends in every life, but our divine friend has always been with us. Divyo deva eko narayano mata pita bhrata suhrid gati. In fact, we have all the relationships with Him. Ved says, He is your mother, father, friend, protector. He is your well-wisher. He is your everything. Gatir bharta prabhu sakshi nivasa sharanam suhrit. Gita. Krishna says the same thing. I'm your everything. I'm your friend. I'm your well-wisher. I'm your protector. I'm your mother, father, beloved. We have all the relationships with Him. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Our Puranas tell us that we only have this relationship with God. All these other relationships that are so deep in our heart that we never forget them, they're only temporary, only for this life. And that relationship with God, which we've forgotten, is so deep that it can never be broken, and it's paripurna. It's called sambandh, which means samyak bandhan, which means a perfect relationship, eternal and related in every way possible. There's no relationship you can imagine that you don't already eternally have with Krishna. Yet we forget that. And that's our true identity. This physical identity that we hold so deeply in our heart is not an eternal thing. It's just a temporary who we are. The eternal who we are, our eternal identity, Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nitya Das. Gauranga Mahaprabhu says our eternal identity is that we are the servant of Krishna. We are His Ansh, so naturally we desire to serve Him. Every Ansh naturally desires to love and serve his Anshi. So we have a natural love for God. Loke